This is what your next assignment is going to look like, so let me walk you through how you're going to do an example of one of these things. So the first thing you need to do when you open this up is read these directions at the top. They will always be at the top, and it says go to File, make a copy, and rename it this. So X will be whatever your class period is. Maybe it's third, or second, or sixth, or whatever. So I'm actually going to highlight this and copy it, Control C to copy, and go to File, make a copy, and then just Control V to paste it in there. And that way I don't have to worry about if I name it the wrong way. So let's say it's third, and then last name, first name. The reason that I want you to do this, and it has to be spelled the same and all of this, which is why I suggest copying and pasting it, is because then when I'm looking for it, I can find it in Google Docs or wherever if I'm searching for it after you share it with me. And so then you'd click OK, and it'll create a new one, and then you're going to want to place this one into the folder that you created. So please take a minute to read through the introduction when you do yours. And but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in this procedure, you're going to create flowcharts. And so it says utilize your notes. So you're probably going to want to have that all of the different symbols, document open. But let's just go through this, and I'll show you how to create it for this example right here. So in this example, we're going to create a drawing, and we're going to insert it directly into here. So down here, it tells you how to do that. It says in the above menu bar, click Insert, and then Drawing. So I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to do Insert, and then Drawing. And then this allows me to open up the drawing file. So the first thing I need to do always is I need to add a start. And all of your flowchart symbols are down here at the bottom. So this one here, it's a terminator. It's also start, so I'm going to click on that, and if I click here, I'm just going to click or type in start. And so as long as this is highlighted, you can just type directly into it. So that's start. And then if I click save and close, you can see it inserts it directly here. So then I need to get glass and get milk. Both of those are processes. So if I double click this again, it will open up my drawing again. So that's what you're going to do, kind of go back and forth. Or if you want to open up separate windows so you can see the directions on one side and make this on the other, that's fine. So let's click arrow. And if I click on the dot, it just places it right there. And I'll move it up a little bit. So the next thing I want to do is get glass, and that's a process. So get glass, and then stick an arrow, and then get milk. So I've done those things. Let me save and close. We'll see where we're at. Then we need to pour milk in glass, and then check to see if it's full. So we'll go back to this, kind of shrunk it up on me, that's okay. And so pour milk in glass is my next thing. So click on shapes, we got another process, and pour milk in glass. And I'll put it right here. And then let me stick the arrow in there. And then I want to check to see if it's full. So that sounds like a decision, which is the diamond. So we'll put the diamond in there. Is glass full? So it has to be a yes or no question. So I can't just say check to see if glass is full. I have to say yes or no question. Is the glass full? And let me stick my arrow here so I can say that I'm going to this. If the answer to this is no, then I'm going to continue to pour milk in there. So let me put my text box, and this is no. If the answer to this is yes, then I need to stop pouring. So I'll make another text box and say yes, and do another process, and that is stop pouring. So let's save and close this, and if it isn't, continue pouring. If it is, stop pouring. So I have those, and let me click and drag this, make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. Looks like it moved it down to the second page. But so far, so good. And the last thing, it says repeat until 2 glasses of milk have been poured. So I need to figure out a way to repeat this. And you might think that you could just put a box that says repeat twice and then end. You can't do that. We need to actually come up with a way to get this to loop. So the way that you would do that as a programmer is you're going to set up a variable. So let me show you how that is going to look. I'm going to choose my favorite variable of all time, which is x. All right, I'm going to say that x is 0. So now I'm going to sort of insert that in there. I'm going to start by saying x is 0, and then let me move this, and then I'm going to get the glass. So I'm going to initialize this variable here. So x is 0. So now if I go down to the end of this, it says stop pouring. Really, I only have one glass, but I have a variable here, so I can use that to help me count. So let me stick another arrow in there, and I can add one to that variable. So I'm just going to say add 1 to x. And so now x is 1, and that actually represents how many glasses that are poured. So I have 1 for x, and now I can ask a question and about x, and that will help me know where to go. So I can say, is x greater than or equal to 2? And the reason I say greater than or equal to and not just equal is because some of our sensors or hardware, that the numbers bounce, and it might go from like 1 to 3. So I know that once I get to 2, anything more than that is bad. I want to stop pouring. So greater than or equal to 2 makes sense for this one. So is it greater than or equal to 2? So let me add my arrow here. If the answer is no, then I need to get another glass. So I'm going to jump back up into here. And if the answer is yes, then I'm going to end. So let me click on my pointer. If I click the no box, I can, as long as these little blue boxes are here, I can do Control C and Control V and copy and paste that. So then I don't have to recreate new text boxes. Control C, Control V. There we go. So is x greater than or equal to 2? Well, no, because it's 1. I added 1 to it. So then I go back here, I get another glass, get milk, pour it, check to see if it's full. As soon as it is, it stops pouring, and now I add another one to it, and it's 2. So is it greater than or equal to 2? Yes, it is. So at this point, I need to stop, and that's the same symbol as this. So I can just drag that down there and type in stop or end. And that's how you would create a loop. So it's our basic setup. We start, we get the glass, we stop pouring. But to add the loop in there, I need to establish this variable. Then I add 1 to it at the end, and then I ask the question, did I meet the limit? If I wanted to do this like 6 times, it's really easy to change. Now I just go through until it's 6. So that's how you set up loops. That's how you set up variables. So I'm going to change that back to 2 and save that one. And at this point, the video is going to stop, and then you're going to do number 1, and it does have a repeat in there. Number 2, you just simply modify number 1. So you're going to have your drawing is going to be inserted right here, and I'm going to actually be checking the modified version of it. And then you're going to have another drawing which will appear right here, and that's going to have this one in there. So go ahead and get started.